With millions out of work because of the pandemic, demand at food banks is surging, and so is the need for help. Feeding America predicts that more than 50 million Americans will have gone hungry in 2020. So in other words, that's 1 in every 6 people. We're seeing hours-long lines from coast to coast. In Boston, executives are calling this the worst crisis they've ever seen. In Texas, cars lined up for miles. Officials say the number of people needing help there has actually doubled. And in California, people desperate to feed themselves and their families lined up for blocks. Joining me now, country music star Brad Paisley. He and his wife have opened a free grocery store in Nashville, and we've talked about it before. And I wanted to check back in with you, Brad, because how has the need changed in the last few months?
Well, it's good to talk to you, Dana. It's been unlike anything we've ever seen. I mean, when we opened this little venture, we decided that it was a way of giving dignity to people, and pretty quickly we had to figure out a way to just disperse food and figure out how to feed the most that we could feed. I guess what I'm seeing is over 1 million Tennesseans this year are estimated to be food insecure, which is way up.
And so, have you been able to talk to anybody what it's like the first time they have to come in and seek help? And during this pandemic, you have people who have never had to ask for charity, and through no fault of their own, they lose their jobs and find themselves in this position.
Yeah, and some of them are in the music business. I mean, we have been hit maybe the hardest of anything. Any sort of live performance or venues or people that make their living by gathering people into groups, this is rough. And, a few weeks ago, my wife and I did one of the routes where you deliver the groceries to folks that are sort of elderly. There was nothing like the one-on-one when you drop the food off at the door and see the faces of the people you're serving. You'll never forget it. And I think it's been one of the most rewarding things we've ever done, having done this. But the timing of it for us has been, it's sipping water from a fire hose. It's unbelievable. Can
you talk a little bit about what it's like for you and Kim to do this together as a couple?
Yeah, it's really been one of the things that has kept us sort of sane. It's good for a marriage, for a couple, I think, anyway, to focus on something beyond just the kids or just within your own house, to do something for the greater good. I think it's been great because it really gives me a sense of peace right now during a time when it can be really, really stressful. And I think she probably feels the same way.
And I know that you miss performing, and you perform so well, and you've written a few songs in the meantime. But this pandemic could go on a little while. What do you need from people? What do you think food banks need most from Americans who are very generous people? They always answer the call. What is the call they need to answer?
I think they need a couple of things. First of all, they need donations. If you're one of the people that's lucky enough to have enough to eat and enough money to get by right now, donating, Giving Tuesday's coming up, donating to places like Feeding America or or things like what we're doing, or any of your local things is great. And then more than that too, if you want to volunteer, if you're healthy, if you can deliver meals to people, that's a great thing. I mean, the need is so far beyond what we expected. We've, as of right now, we're at 777,000 meals since March. Wow. And that is 3 or 4 times what we ever thought we could do in 1 year. And so it's really just comes down to dollars feed people. And if you've got those to spare, give them.
Thank you. Thank you for what you all do in Nashville, and for coming on the show and for spreading this message. And a happy Thanksgiving to you all, too.
Happy Thanksgiving. Thanks a lot, Dana.
Thank you, Brad. All right.